Hello, YouTubers. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alexander D. Howard, and I am new to YouTube. I'm sure, as you guys know, will be a blogger, and today I have a few topics that I came to talk about with you guys. We all know there's been a lot of shit going on right now with the coronavirus, and then we have the Black Lives Matter movement and the riots and the protests and everything that's going on. And I feel compelled to come to make this live because I think people are getting the wrong misinterpretation about everything. I don't think people really have been doing their research like they need to in order to get knowledge about what is going on, in order for some of us to take a stand like we should be doing at this time. So there's been a lot of people who've been saying, in response to Black Lives Matter, first of all lives matter, they've been saying that they don't understand the fact that in order for all lives to matter, first, Black lives need to matter. In order for all lives to matter, they're missing that point. And so I just think that it would help if I gave the definition and the background of how Black Lives Matter came into effect, so people will know, and maybe people can understand who seem like that they cannot understand why this has become a thing, how this has become a impactful logo and whatever you want to call this, hashtag for just Black lives in general. I'm reading from blacklivesmatter.com, the website. It's explaining what they believe, the background of it, how it originated, and what its purpose is for. So maybe some of you can get it. Here we go. Let me click on it and see if I can bring it up. I got my coffee this morning. Y'all see my New Orleans cup? I went to New Orleans one time last year and I haven't been able to go back. I hope I get to go back soon. But not to change the subject, I'm about to read this real quick. I love my coffee with my creamer in it. 4 years ago, what is now known as the Black Lives Matter Global Network began to organize. It started out as a chapter-based, member-led organization whose mission was to build local power and to intervene when violence was inflicted on Black communities by the state and vigilantes. In the years since, we've committed to struggling together and to imagining and creating a world free of anti-Blackness where every Black person has the social, economic, and political power to thrive. Black Lives Matter began as a call to action in response to state-sanctioned violence and anti-Black racism. Our intention from the very beginning was to connect Black people from all over the world who have a shared desire for justice to act together in their communities. Now I'm going to stop right there. They said their intention from the beginning was to connect Black people from all over the world who have shared desire for justice to act together in their communities. But I feel like they should have said in this part that their intention from the beginning was to connect all people from all over the world for Black people. But I can see what they mean as well by saying Black people, because us Black people, we haven't always stick together in order to get what was right for us. And I think that that's what the ultimate purpose of that hashtag really is. But they also, I feel it's important for all people to get together for Black people as well. Now, the impetus for that commitment was and still is the rampant and deliberate violence inflicted on us by the state. Enraged by the death of Trayvon Martin and the subsequent acquittal of his killer, George Zimmerman, and inspired by the 31-day takeover of the Florida State Capitol by Power U and the Dream Defenders, we took to the streets. A year later, we set out together on the Black Lives Matter Freedom Ride to Ferguson in search of justice for Mike Brown and all of those who have been torn apart by the state sanctioned violence and anti black racism. Forever changed, we returned home and began building the infrastructure for the Black Lives Matter Global Network, which, even in its infancy, has become a political home for many. Ferguson helped to catalyze a movement to which we've all helped give life. Organizers to call this network home have ousted anti-black politicians, won critical legislation to benefit black lives, and changed the terms of the debate of blackness around the world. Through movement and relationship building, we have also helped catalyze other movements and shifted culture with an eye toward the dangerous impacts of anti-blackness. These are the results of our collective efforts. The Black Lives Matter Global Network is as powerful as it is because of our membership, our partners, our supporters, our staff, and you. Our continued commitment to liberation for all black people means we are continuing the work of our ancestors in fighting for our collective freedom because it is our duty. Excuse me, I had to belch. Every day we recommit to healing ourselves and each other and to co-creating alongside comrades, allies, and family a culture where each person feels seen, heard, and supported. We acknowledge, respect, and celebrate differences and commonalities. We work vigorously for freedom and justice for black people and by extension all people. We initially build and nurture a beloved community that is bonded together through a beautiful struggle that is restorative and not depleting. We are unapologetically black in our positioning. In affirming that Black Lives Matter, we need to qualify our position. To love and desire freedom and justice for ourselves is a prerequisite for wanting the same for others. We see ourselves as part of the global black family, and we are aware of different ways we are impacted or privileged as black people who exist in different parts of the world. We are guided by the fact that all black lives matter, regardless of actual or perceived sexual identity, gender expression, economic status, ability, disability, religious beliefs or disbeliefs, immigration status, or location. We make space for transgender brothers and sisters to participate and lead. We are self-reflexive and do the work required to dismantle this cisgender privilege and uplift black trans folk, especially black trans women who continue to disproportionately impacted by trans antagonistic violence. We build a space that affirms black women and is free from sexism, misogyny, and environments in which men are centered. We practice empathy. We engage comrades with the intent to learn about and connect with their contents. We make our spaces family friendly and enable parents to fully participate with their children. We dismantle the patriarchal practice that requires mothers to work double shifts so that they can mother in private even as they participate in public justice work. We disrupt the Western prescribed nuclear family structure requirement by supporting each other as extended families and villages. The collectively care for one another, especially our children, to the degree that mothers, parents, and children are comfortable. We foster a queer affirming network. When we gather, we do so with the intention of freeing ourselves from the tight grip of heteronormative thinking, or rather the belief that in the world are heterosexual, unless she or he or they disclose otherwise. We cultivate an intergenerational and communal network free of ageism. We believe that all people, regardless of age, show up with the capacity to lead and learn. We embody and practice justice, liberation, and peace in our engagements with one another. Join the movement to fight for freedom, liberation, and justice by signing up for updates for supporting. Okay. They even have Black Lives Matter t-shirts on here. This one is $25. I feel that any race can buy. You are more than welcome to buy a shirt. This is blacklivesmatter.com. I just want to break down where it came from and how it originated, so maybe some people can understand how it all came about, because it seems like some people aren't getting it. Hold on, I clicked on another link. It's loading. I'm trying to see what this is about. Black Lives Matter, What Matters 2020. Hold on, I'm trying to see what this is.
Until black people are free, no one is fully free. Because the issues that affect black people the most affect everyone. Everyone. Can you imagine an America with no police brutality, without mass shooting and gun violence, mass incarceration, children in cages, racist immigration policies, voter suppression, environmental degradation, and injustice? It's time to vote for an America where our lives are valued and protected, where police are held accountable, where we have access to quality health care, we can thrive in school, where our water is safe to drink. It's time to vote for an America without low wages and low opportunity. Vote for an America without the oppression of white supremacy. Can you imagine an America where oppression and fear are dissolved? Where we are whole, healed. We are the most powerful voters in this country, so we will not be distracted by the noise they make. We are going to choose who leads us, those who truly represent us, and vote out those who don't. Vote you out. We are going to show up and fight for what we need, and vote for what really matters. We are What Matters 2020. Text What Matters to 24365.
Now, did y'all hear that? I'm going to replay this again and put it up to the speaker close so y'all can hear this.
Are free, no one is fully free. Because the issues that affect black people the most affect everyone. Everyone. Can you imagine an America with no police brutality, without mass shooting and gun violence, mass incarceration, children in cages, racist immigration policies, voter suppression, environmental degradation, and injustice? It's time to vote for an America where our lives are valued and protected, where police are held accountable, where we have access to quality health care, where we can thrive in school, where our water is safe to drink. It's time to vote for an America without low wages and low opportunity. Vote for an America without the oppression of white supremacy. Can you imagine an America where oppression and fear are dissolved? Where we are whole, healed. We are the most powerful voters in this country, so we will not be distracted by the noise they make. We are going to choose who leads us, those who truly represent us, and vote out those who don't. Vote you out. We are going to show up and fight for what we need, and vote for what really matters. We are What Matters 2020. Text What Matters to 24365.
Matters. I just want to write that down real quick because I'm going to have to text that number. But some of you, other race people, I don't think y'all fully understand how this has affected how black people are really being treated, because I can empathize with some of you who need more knowledge, because we black people see it. We are the one experiencing it. And I can empathize with the fact that you don't really get it. But some of you people just really just plain out deny it. And some of you just really are racist. And it's sad to say that, but you just don't care. And no matter how we break it down to you, you don't care. And that's what I call racist, and you don't really give a fuck about us, because when we showing you things like this and you still don't care, that means that you're racist and you don't care about no one else but yourself. In my humble opinion, that's how I feel. Now I'm about to read this right now, this extra article real quick. It says BLM's hashtag What Matters 2020 is a campaign aimed to maximize the impact of the Black Lives Matter movement by galvanizing Black Lives Matter supporters and allies to the polls in the 2020 presidential election, to build collective power and ensure candidates are held accountable for the issues that systematically and disproportionately impact Black and underserved communities across the nation. What Matters 2020 will focus on issues concerning racial injustice, police brutality, criminal justice reform, Black immigration, economic injustice, LGBTQIA+, and human rights, environmental injustice, access to health care, access to quality education, and voting rights and suppression. This initiative will inspire and motivate people to ask themselves and their candidates, are you really addressing what matters in 2020? Find out more about our campaign goals and focus. Take action today. Pledge to vote. Register to vote. Sign up for updates. Donate to BLM. Which I'm at fault too, because I have not registered to vote yet, and I'm going to soon, because it's really important that we register to vote. That's another thing, guys. I'm speaking to us Black people right now, because I see really in us Black community, we really don't like to vote, but it's important for us to have our voices. Do you know how long our ancestors fought for us to be able to vote? That's one thing that separates everything else from everything else. They fought for us. Once they got free, we had the trouble with trying to vote for the longest. And if I'm not mistaken, Rosa Parks was one of those people who fought for us to vote, have our voices. And now it's like some of us don't even want to vote. Now, don't get me wrong, I have said fuck it too, and I have not wanted to vote, because it seems as if our voices don't matter. But our numbers need to show up, because looking at it, if our numbers show up, that does make an impact in a form of way. Whether we get what we end up wanting or not, it still ends up to us getting what we deserve at some point, because it's showing that we are taking action, that we are going and doing what we're supposed to do as citizens of the United States. We are doing what we're supposed to do. Now let me click on this link real quick. Seems like the Wi-Fi is acting up right now. But yeah, I just wanted to give that about the Black Lives Matter situation. And I want to also speak about, as we know, what's been going on with recently with George Floyd, who's the most recent brutality by the police force, and what has happened to him. I think I'm gonna read first about his incident, and then I'm gonna play the video for you guys to hear, and I will also put the video down in the description section for you guys to view it. Okay. Killing of George Floyd. On May 25th, 2020, George Floyd, a 46-year-old black man, was killed in Minneapolis, Minnesota during an arrest for allegedly using a counterfeit bill. Now, he didn't actually have a counterfeit bill that we know of. They suspected that he used a counterfeit bill to buy a pack of cigarettes. This is the situation that I want you guys to hear about. Derek Chauvin, a white police officer, knelt on Floyd's neck for almost 8 minutes while Floyd was handcuffed and lying face down. Handcuffed and lying face down now. You have him handcuffed and lying face down, and you have your knee on his neck. Tell me, what could you have thought that he was going to do in handcuffs to have him knelt down with your knee for 8 minutes? Can somebody explain it to me? Can somebody explain to me, has a white person go through this on the regular? Has any other race gone through this on the regular? Begging for his life and repeatedly saying, "I can't breathe." Officers J. Alexander Keong and Thomas Lane further restrained Floyd, while Officer Stu Thayo, or however you pronounce his name, prevented bystanders from intervening. During the final 3 minutes, Floyd was motionless and had no pulse, while Chauvin ignored onlookers' pleas to remove his knee, which he did not do until medics told him to. This is the picture of showing him kneeling on his knee. Putting his knee on this George Floyd's neck. Can y'all see that? It says the following day, all 4 officers were fired. 2 autopsies found Floyd's death to be a homicide. It just become really disheartening to me, because if you have this guy handcuffed and you have him face down on the ground, what more do you think he's going to do? I don't get it. It's just really sad. Now I'm about to play this video for you guys so y'all can see, y'all can hear everything instead of me reading it. And this is the exact video that I'm also going to put into the the description section when I post this video when I'm done. This is very disheartening. This makes me cry when I hear it. So I'm about to play it now for you guys to hear it.
A Monday evening in Minneapolis, police respond to a call about a man who allegedly used a counterfeit $20 bill to buy cigarettes. 17 minutes later, the man they are there to investigate.
Now y'all see, they said allegedly he used a counterfeit $20 bill to buy cigarettes. And all of this transpired over a counterfeit bill. Do y'all see a white man going through this over something like that? I just want to know.
It lies motionless on the ground and is pronounced dead shortly after. The man was 46-year-old George Floyd, a bouncer originally from Houston who'd lost his job at a restaurant when the coronavirus pandemic hit. Floyd's death triggered major protests in Minneapolis and sparked rage across the country. One of the officers involved, Derek Chauvin, has been arrested and charged with second-degree murder. The other 3 officers have been charged with aiding and abetting murder. The Times analyzed bystander videos, security camera footage, and police scanner audio, spoke to witnesses and experts, and reviewed documents released by the authorities to to build as comprehensive a picture as possible and better understand how George Floyd died in police custody. The events of May 25th begin here.
Better yet, I'm about to hold this up so you guys can see it. I'm about to hold this up so y'all can see it as it's playing. I think it'll be better if I hold it up. And then y'all can also go watch the video in the link. I'm gonna turn my phone sideways too so y'all can see it better that way.
Floyd is sitting in the driver's seat of this blue SUV. Across the street is a convenience store called Cup Foods. Footage from this restaurant's security camera helps us understand what happens next. Note that the timestamp on the camera is 24 minutes fast. At 7:57 p.m., 2 employees from Cup Foods confront Floyd and his companions about an alleged counterfeit bill he just used in their store to buy cigarettes. They demand the cigarettes back, but walk away empty-handed. 4 minutes later, they call the police. According to the 911 transcript, an employee says that Floyd used fake bills to buy cigarettes and that he is awfully drunk and not in control of himself. Soon, the first police vehicle arrives on the scene.
I want to stop it too. There's no proof that he was drunk either. I just want to let you guys know that.
Thomas Lane and J. Alexander Koenig step out of the car and approach the blue SUV. Seconds later, Lane pulls his gun, we don't know exactly why, and orders Floyd to put his hands on the wheel. Lane reholsters the gun, and after about 90 seconds of back and forth, yanks Floyd out of the SUV. A man is filming the confrontation from a car parked behind them. The officers cuff Floyd's hands behind his back, and Koenig walks him to the restaurant wall.
All right, what's your name?
From the 911 transcript and the footage, we now know 3 important facts. First, that the police believed they were responding to a man who was drunk and out of control. But second, even though the police were expecting this situation, we can see that Floyd has not acted violently. And third, that he seems to already be in distress. 6 minutes into the arrest, the 2 officers move Floyd back to their vehicle. As the officers approach their car, we can see Floyd fall to the ground. According to the criminal complaints filed against the officers, Floyd says he is claustrophobic and refuses to enter the police car. During the struggle, Floyd appears to turn his head to address the officers multiple times. According to the complaints, he tells them he can't breathe. 9 minutes into the arrest, the 3rd and final police car arrives on the scene. It's carrying officers Tu Tao and Derek Chauvin. Both have previous records of complaints brought against them. Tao was once sued for throwing a man to the ground and hitting him. Chauvin has been involved in 3 police shootings, one of them fatal. Chauvin becomes involved in the struggle to get Floyd into the car. Security camera footage from Cup Foods shows Koenig struggling with Floyd in the back seat while Tao watches. Chauvin pulls him through the back seat and onto the street. We don't know why. Floyd is now lying on the pavement, face down. That's when 2 witnesses begin filming, almost simultaneously. The footage from the first witness shows us that all 4 officers are now gathered around Floyd. It's the first moment when we can clearly see that Floyd is face down on the ground, with 3 officers applying pressure to his neck, torso, and legs. At 8:20 p.m., we hear Floyd's
now, was all of that needed? The neck, torso, and legs? Was all of that needed?
The video stops when Lane appears to tell the person filming to walk away. The officers radio a code 2, a call for non-emergency medical assistance, reporting an injury to Floyd's mouth. In the background, we can hear Floyd struggling.
Can we get EMS code 2 for bleeding from the mouth?
The call is quickly upgraded to a code 3, a call for emergency medical assistance. By now, another bystander, 17-year-old Darnella Frazier, is filming from a different angle. Her footage shows that despite calls for medical help, Chauvin keeps Floyd pinned down for another 7 minutes.
We can't see whether Koenig and Lane are still applying pressure.
What do you want? I can't breathe. Please, the knee in my neck. I can't breathe still.
Bro, get up, get in the car, man.
I will.
Get up, get in the car.
I can't move.
I've been waiting the whole time, man. Get up, get in the car.
Mama.
Get up and get in the car right.
I can't.
In the two videos, Floyd can be heard telling officers that he can't breathe at least 16 times in less than 5 minutes.
Yeah, even listen to Red.
I cannot breathe.
But Chauvin never takes his knee off of Floyd, even as his eyes close and he appears to go unconscious.
Look at him.
Bro.
Get off of him now. What is wrong with you? What the f? He got mace. He got mace.
According to medical and policing experts, these 4 police officers are committing a series of actions that violate policies and in this case turn fatal. They've kept Floyd lying face down, applying pressure for at least 5 minutes. This combined action is likely compressing his chest and making it impossible to breathe. Chauvin is pushing his knee into Floyd's neck, a move banned by most police departments.
Bro, he's not moving.
No, did they kill him, bro?
Minneapolis Police Department policy states an officer can only do this if someone is, quote, actively resisting. And even though the officers
Actively
called for
resisting
medical
now. Was he
assistance,
actively
they take
resisting?
no action to treat Floyd on
Was
their
he?
own while waiting for the ambulance to arrive.
You think that's okay? Check his pulse. Check his right. Check his pulse. Get back in the check. The man ain't moved yet, bro.
According to the complaints against the officers, Lane asks him twice if they should roll Floyd onto his side. Chauvin says no. 20 minutes into the arrest, an ambulance arrives on the scene.
Get off of his neck.
The EMTs check Floyd's pulse.
Are you serious?
Chauvin keeps his knee on Floyd's neck for almost another whole minute, even though Floyd appears completely unresponsive. He only gets off once the EMTs tell him to. Chauvin kept his knee on Floyd's neck for over 8 minutes, according to our review of the video evidence. Floyd is loaded into the ambulance. The ambulance leaves the scene, possibly because a crowd is forming, but the EMTs call for additional medical help from the fire department.
You added fire to your run.
But when the engine arrives, the officers give them, quote, no clear info on Floyd or his whereabouts, according to a fire department incident report. This delays their ability to help the paramedics. Meanwhile, Floyd is going into cardiac arrest.
320, if you could let MSD know that EMS needs, the fire needs to go to Parking 36 proceeding in the full rest now.
It takes the engine 5 minutes to reach Floyd and the ambulance. He's pronounced dead at a nearby hospital around 9:25 p.m. Preliminary autopsies conducted by the state and Floyd's family both ruled his death a homicide. The widely circulated arrest videos don't paint the entire picture of what happened to George Floyd. Additional video and audio from the body cameras of the key officers would reveal more about why the struggle began and how it escalated. The city quickly fired all 4 officers, and Chauvin has been charged with second-degree murder. Thomas Lane, J. Alexander Koenig, and Tu Tao were charged with aiding and abetting murder. But outrage over George Floyd's death has only spread further and further across the United States.
Now y'all see that, didn't you? This man was constantly telling him that he could not breathe. And he was doing nothing to be held down. He was not actively resisting. He was not doing anything to threaten the police. And yet this man still kept his knee on that man's neck. Excuse me. Now, no one can tell me that that wasn't foul play. No one can tell me that that man was doing something when it's clear in the video that he wasn't doing anything. He was asking them to let him up, and they said, get up, get up, get up. How can he get up when his neck is, when he cannot breathe and you have your knee on his neck? You tell me how in the hell can somebody get their ass up from the ground and you have their knee on them and they cannot breathe, and you have your knee on your leg or whatever the fuck you got on their torso and their leg. 3 different spots. How can he get up? He meant to do that. That officer meant to do that. That's what he meant to do. And he didn't give a damn about anybody videoing him. He didn't give a damn who seen it. He didn't give a damn about any of that. Not at all. I'm going to post this video in the description. I said this earlier. It's just really sad how these officers are doing us black people, how they've been doing us black people, and then we can't handle that anymore. We can't stand for it anymore. We have to make a change. We have to stand for what is right. We have to come together and join each other. All of us have to come together, not just black, white, Hispanic, Asian. You see injustice, you have to come together and stand for it, because we are all a family at the end of the day. Some of you dirty motherfuckers don't want black people to succeed and don't want black people to be treated fairly. And that is the problem. Some of you have been raised in your homes to hate black people because of the color of their skin. And you've been given this stigma about black people, and it's in you. Because your families gave it to you. And that's just the way it is, and it's fine. And I can see that out of people when I'm around them. I can see which ones have been given that by the way that they speak, how they act, how they won't listen to, how they constantly make things as pass things over as it's not what it is when it clearly is what it is in blue daylight. You can't deny this shit. It's on video, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And I want to continue to make a stand. We have to continue to do petitions. We have to continue to do petitions for all of these people. I have a sheet here with over 100 names of people with the hashtag say their name. These are not all the people. There's more people than this over the history of our years. But these are just a rundown of people who have been wrongfully treated by the police force. I'm going to say each of their names. Eric Garner, John Crawford III, Michael Brown, Ezell Ford, Dante Parker, Michelle Sizels, Laquan McDonald, Tanisha Anderson, Akai Gurley, Tamir Rice, Romaine Brisbane, Jeraine Reed, George Mann, Matthew Ajababe, Frank Smart, Natasha McKenna, Tony Robinson, Anthony Hill, Maya Hall, Philip White, Eric Harris, Walter Scott, William Chapman II, Alexia Christian, Brenda Glenn, Victor Manuel LaRosa, Jonathan Sanders, Freddie Gray, Joseph Mann, Salvador Ellswood, Sandra Bland, Albert Joseph Davis, Darius Stewart, Billy Ray Davis, Samuel DeBose, Michael Sabbie, Brian Keith Day, Christian Taylor, Troy Robinson, Ashams, Pharaoh Manley, Phyllis Cumey, Keith Harrison, Junior Prosper, Lamontez Jones, Patterson Brown, Dominique Hutchinson, Anthony Ashford, Alonzo Smith, Tyree Crawford, India Kager, Levante Biggs, Michael Lee Marshall, Jamar Clark, Richard Perkins, Nathaniel Harris Pickett, Beanie Lee Tickner, Miguel Espinal, Michael Noel, Kevin Matthews, Betty Jones, Quintino Legrier, Keith Childress Jr., Janet Wilson, Randy Nelson, Antroni Scott, Wendell Celestine, David Joseph, Colleen Rockrimore, Deshaun Perkins, Christopher Davis, Marco Loud, Peter Gaines, Tori Robinson, Darius Robinson, Kevin Hicks, Mary Truxillo, Demarcus Seamer, Billy Tillman, Terrell Thomas, Seville Smith, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Terrence Crutcher, Paul O'Neill, Alteria Woods, Jordan Edwards, Arian Bailey, Ronald Foster, Stephen Clark, Antoine Rose II, Botham Jean, Pamela Turner, Dominique Clayton, and Tatiana Jefferson, Christopher Whitfield, Christopher McCorby, Eric Reason, Michael Lorenzo, Breonna Taylor, and George Floyd, with being the most recent. Now, there's a hell of a lot of names in it. I know it is. That is a hell of a lot of names for it to be black people being mistreated by the police force. And not all of these people have retaliated when they've been arrested. And it's a damn shame how the police force have been acting towards us. And they've done it on purpose. Now, I'm about to read some things out that have been posted lately by some people who have also, it's been disheartening to hear from. When you have tweets like people who say, I hate little black faggots, and you have people who post, then they flip around and they say, tired of seeing this white this and black that. If y'all learn to see just people and not color, racism wouldn't even exist. How can you say that, in my humble opinion, when racism exists with you? Because you said, what, a year earlier, that you hate little black faggots? You distinctly labeled out faggots, black faggots. You didn't say all faggots. You didn't say, you said a certain type of faggots. You did not say faggots as a whole. You distinctively singled out black faggots. And we want to know why it was black faggots. Initially, that post was directed towards me, but it was offensive to the LGBTQ community as a whole, because when you say black faggots, you've offended the whole community of black people. So you cannot turn around and say you're tired of seeing white this and black that when you distinctively label out black faggots without apologizing. But in my humble opinion, apology wouldn't even do, because the way you really like put it out there, it was vulgar, it was derogatory, and it was a shame how you said that. And when people that say things like that, you have to take them serious, because in that moment they're angry. And this is not the only incident that you've had with black people, I'll say that. So we definitely know that it's not a game. I also want to take a moment and show something else, read something else as well. It said, this is a post that was on Instagram from a peaceful protest in Monroe, Louisiana. If anybody knows where that is. It says, we declare our right on this earth to be a human being, to be respected, given rights in this society, which we intend to bring into existence by any means necessary. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. And that is a true statement. This is a post by a friend of mine. And here go all the names again. Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Tatiana Jefferson, and so on. And this was a white friend of mine that posted this. Now, let me say this. For him to post this, it literally made me cry. Because not many white people seem to have understood what has been going on. And for a white person to understand what has been going on and to acknowledge the situation has been really, really appreciating, because usually coming out with this stuff, we don't really get the push that we needed. But so far, we've gotten the extra push that we needed, but we need more than that. I'm about to read this post and read what he said to you guys. And this goes for some of you white people who seem like that you can't get it. It says, you have a duty as a human being to defend your brothers and sisters of color. You have a duty to speak up when you see injustices against them. You have a duty to do what is right even when what's right may not be easy. If you choose to sit in silence and just watch as the injustice, corruption, brutality, abuse of power, racism, hatred, etc. continues in this country, then you are a part of the problem. You have a voice now, make it heard. For once in your life, stand the fuck up for what is right. Now more than ever, it is the time to stand with our brothers and sisters and demand change. Do what is right, because what is right isn't easy, but you know what is right. You know it's what's right. To see the Twin Cities come together and peacefully protest and walk the streets of Monroe for 2 hours is something that I will never forget. To see a group of people who felt no hate toward each other but felt love for each other and come together and came together come together to make their voices heard. That is something that will resonate in my thoughts for the rest of my life. I, as a white gay man, cannot tell a person of color how to feel, how to protest, how to mourn, how to be angry. But I can say this. I will stand with you, cry with you, be angry with you, and march with you for however long it takes. Until this country has the change it so desperately needs. I will stand with you until you feel safe 24/7 wherever you may go. And even then, I will not leave your side. Person of color deserve better, and it's about time that America wakes the fuck up and realizes it. For those of you saying all lives matter, mostly the racist white privilege, just stop. Stop and shut the fuck up long enough to listen, long enough to see, long enough for it to sink in that you are part of the problem. All lives cannot matter until Black lives matter first. And we admit that we as white people turn a blind eye because we feel like it isn't our problem. Guess what? It is your fucking problem. And it's about time that America's wake the fuck up and realizes it. For those of you saying, wait, hold on. Okay, I'm sorry. I went to the wrong spot. I had to turn to another page. And it's about time that you help fix it. This isn't about black versus white. It's about racism versus what is right. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Hashtag Justice No Peace. Hashtag George Floyd. Hashtag Justice for George Floyd. Hashtag Enough is Enough. And I'm going to say hashtag time the fuck up. Because it's time's up for us that are sitting here and letting these people treat our other people in our community wrong. It's time's up for people who are being brutally mistreated, clear as daylight, and they get away with it. And it's being passed on. It's, oh, they've done something wrong. Oh, this is what happened. Oh, this is what happened. They've done this. They've done something wrong. We've always done something wrong. We haven't always done something wrong. We've specifically at points been labeled out and been targeted out to be for kill because of our color of our skin. And that is unfair as fuck. It really is. And it's disheartening to see that that happens. I'm going to read another post that I felt that was very offensive. I've been on here for almost an hour. I'm just going to get off in a minute. I will be going to it will be another episode because there's some more to address. I want to read this tweet that I've seen. It says, what's next? Santa can't say ho 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 because your mom gets offended. I want to know why you would say that, because should we not be offended? How come we can't be offended for the slurs that have been clear as daylight said at our faces, the brutality that has been taken upon in our faces, why can't we be offended by that? How can you tell us to not be offended by it? That's what I want to know. If we were to do all of this stuff to you guys would be damn right offended. Nobody could tell you a damn thing about it. Now it's time for us to say, no, you can't tell us a damn thing about us, because I'll be right back, guys. Let me go take care of it. Hold on, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. But shouldn't we have, what I was saying was, shouldn't we have the right to be angry for the things that have happened to us? Can we not be angry? What are you saying to us, people? What should we do? You give us, why won't you guys give us what we need to do in order for this to stop then? And since all lives matter and not Black Lives Matter first, in order for all lives to matter, explain to us what we need to do. If you have the answer, give us the answer. I want the answer. Comment the answer below if you have it. That's what I want you to do. I'm going to read something else as well. There was this post that I wanted to read, and I felt that it was just right for you guys to understand. And if you don't understand after this, that means you're racist as fuck, and you're just racist. That's just who you are. You have it in you, and that's a part of who you are. And you don't care for the lives of Black people at all. So therefore, if you don't care for the lives of Black people, then all lives don't matter, because we're a part of all lives, right? It says saying all lives matter as a response to Black Lives Matter is like saying the fire department should spray down all homes in the neighborhood, even though only one home is on fire, because all homes matter. Yes, your home does matter. Your home does matter. Your home does matter too, but your home isn't the one that is on fire. Your home isn't the one that is on fucking fire. I'm going to read this again. Saying all lives matter as a response to Black Lives Matter is like saying the fire department should spray down all homes in a neighborhood, even though only one home is on fire. Come on now, guys. Because all homes matter. Yes, your home matters too. We agree. But your home is the one that is on fire. So, what we're saying is, saying all lives matter, guys, for some of you, you're saying all lives matter, which is correct. But the point is, there's only one home on fire. So why would you go and spray down all homes when all homes went on fire in the neighborhood? It would be pointless. What point would you be making? That's the point we're making. If you're saying all lives matter, what would be the point in standing up for justice for all lives if it's not all lives that are being literally brutally taken every other day or every other week or every other month or every other year in numbers and multiples. How can you say that when it's only happening in majorly one community? You can't say that. It makes no sense. Okay. And I'm about to read something else too, and then I'm about to play a video, and then I'm about to go ahead and go about my day because I have things to do today. I just want to drop by and inform you guys on these couple things. This says, there must be a point where we must hold people accountable for their derogatory, disgusting, and discriminatory accusations, statements, and actions. By not doing that, we discredit, devalue, and degrade ourselves. Black or mixed, it doesn't matter, even if it's a streak. You're still considered black. So we must get to a place where we hold these things accountable. Even if someone that is not of color, as they say, witnessed it, you can call it out as well. That is, to me, how this where we can point to where we can start getting to. That's what's next that we can get to after all of these things have happened in order to make a change. If you see somebody, say for example, if you see somebody literally calling a black person a nigger and treating a person wrong or trying to escort or person or single out a person because of the color of their skin, and you are a white person or a person of another ethnicity, call it out. That makes it so much more impactful and better when you call that person out or call that business out or call whoever out by any means necessary. And speak out in boldness and don't be afraid about it. Speak out against it, because if you're so for black people, or you're so for injustice for all people, if you see something that is not right, you stand up for it no matter what the fuck it is. I don't care how it looks, how it may other people may feel that it is. You stand up for what is right. If you know that it's wrong, stand up for it. That's how we have to make the change, y'all. It's where we have to stand up for what is not right. We have to. We can't no longer accept inequality. You can't do it. How can you? I know I won't be standing up for inequality anymore. I can't do it. I don't see myself standing up for it. I can't. Now I'm about to play this video that I had seen. And I'm going to wrap this up for the day. And I'll probably be back tomorrow or soon, Sunday evening, because I definitely have a lot more to discuss and go into details. Y'all know I'm new and fresh to this situation, but I have other things to do, so I'm gonna play this, and I want you guys to listen to it.
Until we receive justice, how can there be peace? When police brutality and racial injustices continue to plague Black America.
Black is love, black is strength, black is joy.
Black is courage, black is struggle, black is perseverance. We can no longer be silent. We must educate ourselves and others around us.
Right.
We have to get uncomfortable,
including you white
now
people,
in order to get comfortable for lifetimes to come.
Right.
My name is Marlo Hampton, and my life matters. Hi, I'm Dr. Heavenly.
We have to get uncomfortable, she said, in order to be comfortable in the times to come. That's it.
And my life matters.
I am Eva Marcel, and my life matters.
My name is Portia Williams, and my life matters.
My name is Monique Samuels, and my life matters.
My name is Candace Dillard Bassett, and my life matters.
My name is Wendy Osembo, and my life matters.
My name is
is Karen Huber. My life matters.
My name is Giselle, and my life matters.
Hey, I'm Dr. Jacqueline Walters.
And I'm Curtis Berry.
My life matters.
My life matters.
Our lives matter.
My name is Candy Burris. My life matters. Our lives matter.
My name is Robin Dixon, and my life matters. Our lives matter.
I'm Ashley Darby, and my life matters. Our lives matter.
My name is Buffy Purcell, and my life matters. Our lives matter.
I'm Nene Max. And there are things that need to be said out loud, like Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Yes. Black Lives Matter. Hi, I'm Cynthia Bailey.
And I'm Mike Hill.
And our lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
I am Dr. Contessa Metcalf, and my life matters.
Our lives matter.
Black Lives Matter.
My name is Tanya Sam. Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter.
We will continue to fight for Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, and George Floyd, and so many others who have lost their lives. But we have to create a change, you guys. We have to use our voices, our resources, and our wallets to make that change. I ask of you today to make a donation to Know Your Rights Camp.
Color of Change, NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund.
ACLU. Black Lives Matter.
Our lives matter.
Now, she just said it. We have to get uncomfortable in order to be comfortable for the times to come, guys. This is real. Hashtag say their name. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. Before our lives matter, Black lives have to matter first. That's the main thing. Black lives have to matter first. It's the whole point. And we have to continue to stand. We have to continue to